Welcome to the Manifestation and Money Podcast, Michelle. I'd love for you to share with the listeners just who you are and what your story is.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you for having me today. My name is Dr. Michelle Odette Green. I hold a doctorate degree in educational leadership. I typically get that question, what kind of medical doctor are you? So I like to clarify that it is educational leadership. And I am a brain health trainer, a neuro-encoding specialist. And what that actually means is that I help people learn tools and techniques to default to their better behaviors. You know how when people are just overwhelmed, they're stressed out, they procrastinate, they hesitate, they have fear of failure, if you will, and fear of success. Well, I help them get over that and I help them move their life forward faster. So, in a nutshell, I like to help people be their best, be happy. I also serve as a happiness coach, and I teach people how to really look at their life from a perspective that if they desire to do something in their life, that they shouldn't put a time limit on it because this world is vast and infinite possibilities are all around us. And the reason I like to make sure that people know you don't have to put a time limit on your dreams is because once upon a time, I put a time limit on my dreams and I thought they would never come to fruition. But then I realized, I have choices and I got some mentorship and coaching and what have you. And individuals help me unlock that part of my mindset that, you know what, it's never too late. It's never too late. And because of that, so a dream that I had in 1999 did not come to fruition until 2022. And so there is where I like to help people realize that there's no time limit. Who said that there was an expiration date on your goals and your dreams? My mother is another great example because she had a dream to serve as a city council person and she tried at the age of 71 and was defeated. And then at the age of 81, she actually became a city council person and she is now 86 years young and she's serving on city council. So I am the type of person who really likes to help people be more, do more, and have more. Specifically, think better, feel better, do better, and have better. So that's a little bit about me, and I'll turn it back over to you. And I have so much more that I would love, love, love to share.
First off, thank you for giving the listeners that permission slip to keep going because I know often society puts us in these boxes and then we put ourselves in our own boxes and limitations of, like you said, you could have a goal. It didn't happen in the time frame, which I'm sure a whole lot of people just laid their New Year's resolutions in January, right? And if they're not coming true, they're like, well, dang, I'm out for this year. But to give that permission to keep going and keep moving towards what you want, regardless of a timestamp, I think that is so important. So important. So thank you for giving that
Absolutely.
permission slip. And I want to go down the rabbit hole where you said to get people to go back to, did you say they're more ideal behaviors? Like, how do you train yourself to go back to a more favorable behavior?
Yes, to default to your better behaviors.
Yeah.
So we're wired, so to speak, for the negative. Now, if you were raised in a family where they understand how to get the best out of you and you were conditioned that way, that's a different story. So many people were not conditioned that way. They were conditioned to be cautious. They were conditioned to look for, when you think about the you want to do something and then you play the devil's advocate. So you look for what could go wrong instead of what can go right. And so many people have been conditioned through their words and their thoughts that they're cautious. And so when they're stepping out there and they have any type of resistance, then they just default to, okay, this is not going to work out, so on and so forth. And so what I do is help them get over that fear, get over the fear of failure and success. Some people are even scared of success because they think that it's going to bring more scrutiny to them. They think that it's going to require more responsibility from them, and it may, you know. However, I teach them how to overcome of that as well. So when I talk about defaulting to your better behaviors, when you find yourself actually being unresourceful or having negative thoughts, I teach you how to overcome that quickly. Now, there is a pattern interrupt process that it takes time. So it's not like a one and done thing, like you do it one time and then now, you're cured. Now, that can happen if you have a significant emotional event that happens to you, but typically it has to be something that you do repetitive so that you can actually encode it into your cells. And that's where we get to defaulting to your better behaviors. So you are overriding the default settings that you currently have with the new settings. So it's like you're doing a reboot for your brain and your body. And so I'll just give you one example of that. It's called the stop technique. So what I teach is, so first you think of a situation where you felt that you were holding yourself back. You think of that situation and you feel bad about it. So you go into a posture, because posture is everything as well. So you go into a posture that is unresourceful. And then once you're in that posture, and I'm kind of looking down, kind of demonstrating the posture. And once you realize you're thinking about that negative thing, you're in that posture, then you literally you stand up and you say stop. You use the word because you're stopping, you're canceling that thought and that behavior. And you stand up and you say, stop. You shake yourself out. You smile because when you smile, you start releasing those good chemicals. Pat yourself on the back, celebrate yourself, and you think of what you want to do going forward. And so it's an ongoing exercise that you do. And before you know it, after you've done that so many times, it actually becomes a default setting. So when you find yourself in a situation where you're thinking negative, you tell yourself, look, stop. And you shake it out. You think of what do you want to achieve? Celebrate the fact that number one, you caught yourself. Number two, that now you're thinking forward motion. And then number three, when you celebrate yourself, you want to do more of that. So you start taking those steps. And I always say, take baby steps. What is the next right action that you can do? Because the more you move forward, the doors start opening. If you have any obstacles that come in your way, you're prone to look at them as that, you know what, you're not going to stop me. Stop. You think about, okay, what can I do next? And you get more resourceful because the key is being resourceful. And if you can be resourceful, so many doors will open for you. And when you're resourceful, you don't look at a no as a no. You look at, okay, that's just another, that's something not now. You can say not now. It's not no. Or you can look at it as you're building that muscle to hear the no, that rejection, if some people would think of it as rejection, and you don't let it bother you. You keep moving yourself forward. So it's all building that muscle within you and conditioning your mindset to help you move forward and so that you know you can do hard things. And when you do hard things, it becomes easier to do more hard things. And I like to tell people when something feels hard, it's not that it's really hard. It's just it's harder than you would like it to be. So somebody else has been able to do that. If they were able to do it, you can use that as inspiration that you are able to do it. So the stop technique is one method that I help people to encode themselves so that they can default to their better behaviors. Of course, there's so many more, but that's just one.
That is such a easy, simple I say easy, simple. It sounds simple, right? I know implementation isn't always easy, but a simple tool that anybody can start implementing into their life. And yeah, you touched the nail on the head there. When I think of manifestation and you're trying to get yourself into a higher vibration, a big piece of that is getting yourself into that, the yes, I can, the yes, now I can see the opportunities. Now I have the creativity to move forward from this space, which you can't do from that, like you said, that posture of staring down at the ground where you're feeling all those icky feelings. So by being able to switch the gears with such a simple but powerful tool like that, I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. And so let me just give you really quick the steps like
Mhm.
this. So you feel bad on purpose. This is training yourself. Then you feel good by interrupting the pattern by standing up, shaking yourself out. And then you tell yourself something resourceful and you celebrate that. And that whole process is really just a pattern interrupt because really our lives are run on patterns. And if we can interrupt those patterns that are holding us back, we can see ourselves manifesting, as you said, and moving our life forward. And that's why I am so big on your thoughts and your words because they actually dictate your actions. And another thing that I teach is a simple formula: as I think, so I feel, as I feel, so I do, as I do, so I have. And so that's where I help people think better, feel better, do better, and have better. Because when you look at what vibrational uh, scale, when you look at the vibrational scale, let's put it that way. In my book, I have a book. It's called Be Successful for Life, Elevate Your Thoughts, Words, Actions, and Results. And I have this in the book as far as the emotional vibrational scale, if you will. And when you think about your thoughts, they're going to produce that feeling. And how do you actually get yourself to feel better? And how do you move up that scale to stay either neutral, which neutral is not a bad thing, but of course we want to get above that neutral state. But how do you do it? And we can reach for better feelings so that we can move our vibration up. Because I will tell you, the more I stay in gratitude and joy and love, the more I get people just giving to me, pouring into me. And that can happen for anyone. The more you stay in that level of vibration, it's amazing the things that you get. I'm talking about not just from financial manifestation, which I've gotten a lot of that. I've had people give me $10,000 cashier's check just because I have been vibrating in that zone. Like those were my thoughts. I just want to get this $10,000. And when this one person walked up to me and literally handed me a $10,000 cashier's check, I was like, yes, I've been waiting for it. I have been waiting for it. So when you can move yourself up, when you find yourself going down the rabbit hole, if you will, then, you again, you become more resourceful. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is that the way that we are made as human beings, our happy chemicals are not always turned on. So you do have those ups and downs, and that's okay. So having tools and techniques and strategies to help you to actually activate those happiness chemicals is key. And I teach how to activate happy chemicals, especially when you are feeling constricted, because that's what happens when you are feeling bad. You're really being more constricted and you are activating those chemicals that actually keep you functioning at a lower level.
I'm just curious, how did you get on this path? Because obviously you have a love of this, but how did your life become this, what it is today?
Yes, yes, yes. So before I really understood the science of all of this, I will say at a young age, I would like feel stuff. I would just feel that things would happen good for me. And there were times where I felt that something was going to happen that I didn't want to happen. Say if I just had a premonition that, oh my goodness, this bad thing is going to happen. Let me just call it what I'm going to call it, a bad thing. But I didn't know what to do with the information. I just didn't know. And then there was a time where I could taste like what was going to unfold for me, still not knowing how it would happen. And so as I start understanding more and more about your thoughts and more about how you bring stuff in your life. Now, back then, I didn't call it manifestation. I didn't understand anything like that. All I understood was that we have choices, and the beginning of anything is the thought. I remember one of my friends, she would always say to me, the beginning of anything is the thought. And I kept thinking, oh my goodness, there are so many things that I don't want to happen because of the things I was thinking. And then once I understood what she was really saying, and then I start paying more attention to my thought life, more and more attention. Now, I do want to say, I do serve as a brain health trainer, meaning I teach people how to optimize their brain health so that they can be happier, healthier, more financially abundant, all of those things as well. And I really didn't get into the brain health until the early 2000s. And then I really didn't do a whole lot with it until 2021. And the reason why I was so geared toward brain health is because I served as a center director for Urban Job Corps Center, and I had a psychologist and a psychiatrist there. And the individuals in the program is a residential program. The individuals in the program were ages 16 through 24. And a lot of them, they came in and their brains were troubled, their minds were troubled, and they wanted to medicate them. I'm not telling anybody to go off their medication. That is between you and your doctor, because there is a process for that if you are on any type of medication. And I do understand being on medication. And so back then, I felt like there had to be a better way than just putting these young people on medication. We could look at holistically what they could do as far as their food intake, as far as mind management or thought management, exercise, just from a holistic perspective, the spirituality, what could we do naturally versus just medicating them? And so, at any rate, I learned about Dr. Daniel Amen and I got involved with his work. And I had my own situation with my brain health. And so, because I had my own situation and I had to go see a psychiatrist and a psychologist, then it led me down that track, wanting to understand what I could do personally so that I didn't have to rely on medication, because I couldn't sleep at one point and they gave me medication and that medication didn't work. I still couldn't sleep. And so one of the psychiatrists said, this is deeper than medication. And she gave me some strategies on what I could do to help improve the health of my brain. And it worked. It worked. And so I love helping people to optimize their brain health as well, because when we tell ourselves something, our brain goes to work actually to find it. And I talk about the subconscious mind, how, most of who we are is housed there. 5% is conscious. And again, I'll give the example and I'll turn it back over to you, because I know you asked me, how did I get into this? And that's a long story, but I want to say this so people can think about it. Your brain is always listening. So when you tell yourself something, trust and believe your brain is going through the process of how to bring that to pass or bring it into your field of awareness, even when you stop thinking about it. And the example is, I know I have tried to think of a person's name and I couldn't think of their name to save my life. Has that ever happened to you, Jen, where you tried to think of a
Yeah.
person's name and you couldn't think of it to
Yep.
save your life in that moment? And you left it alone and you went on about your business. And later on, all of a sudden, oh, the person's name actually comes to the forefront of your mind. And you're like, oh, yes, his name was Bob. That's who I was trying to think of. So, why did that happen? It happened because you gave your brain a command, and then you left it alone and then it brought it up to the surface. It's like your favorite song that you haven't heard in 20 years. It comes on the radio. You can sing every single word. So I just wanted to give that a little example there and just note that your brain is always listening. And there's that part of us that it's known as the reticular activating system. It's like your matchmaker in your mind. And when you become aware of anything, you're going to start seeing more of it. So when you want to manifest something, there is a process for doing that to get that reticular activating system online. And again, you just bring it into your field of awareness. And a lot of times it's in unlikely places. And that's what people have to understand. Sometimes people think that it has to be so cut and dry, but sometimes it's in unlikely places. So I was in a money manifestation challenge here recently, and we had a particular amount that we were working to manifest. And so I happened upon a bag that I had not opened up in years. I opened up a zipper and a wad of cash was there. And I was like, oh my goodness. And at the time I said, oh my goodness, when I should have said, I've been looking for you. Where have you been? And so, it's real. It's real. When you get clear on what you want and you focus on it, you're going to bring it into your life. And again, it doesn't have an expiration date on it because sometimes we put those deadlines. We want it to happen by when, which is not a bad thing as well, having a by when date. Know that. Don't get overwhelmed or get down on yourself if it doesn't happen by that by when date. Don't change the goal. Just look at it as it will happen when it's supposed to happen.
I love that. And I think this is the perfect segue to lead into my favorite question of the show, which is what is your biggest piece of advice for someone to go out and create a life they love?
Yes. So my first piece of advice is that you must take 100% responsibility for your life. You are the creator for your life, and being a conscious creator is key. And taking that responsibility and being a conscious creator and looking at things from an optimistic perspective, those things are key to keep you moving forward and being fulfilled with it. Because the part is, yes, you can achieve a lot, and I've achieved a lot in life. And during that time when I achieved things and I didn't understand how to be fulfilled with the achievement, I was still unhappy. Yes, I had the beautiful home, husband, driving my Mercedes, money in the bank, and I was feeling like something was missing and I didn't understand why. And so now that I understand how to activate those happy chemicals, I take responsibility for my life. I create from a conscious perspective. I stay open and optimistic. And I understand that obstacles are opportunities just to expand your skill set. So I again want people to understand that it's never too late to pursue your goals. We know Grandma Moses, for some of us who know her, she started painting at the age of 78. She went on to create 1,500 masterpieces well into her hundreds. And so take 100% responsibility for your life. Be a conscious creator. Know that obstacles are opportunities for you to grow and learn. Know that celebration is a way to keep yourself moving forward. Every time you celebrate yourself, even when you have an obstacle, because you're saying, yes, I can, and you're patting yourself on the back, it's going to make you want to keep moving forward and tell yourself, listen, yes, I can, and I can do hard things. Now, I know that was a long answer, but if you really take those pieces, your life can blossom in ways that you didn't even imagine because it goes all the way back to How I think is how I feel. How I feel is what I do. And what I do will produce the results that I have in my life. And so, back over to you, my friend.
I think that's perfect. It's like you shared a little blueprint there. So thank you for sharing that. And I'd love for you to share with the guests where they can reach out, get a copy of your book, connect with you.
Yes, absolutely. So my book, Elevate Your Life, it's Be Successful for Life, Elevate Your Thoughts, Words, Actions, and Results. It's on Amazon. And of course, you can Google me, Dr. Michelle Odette Green or Dr. Michelle Odette. My phone number, it is 8787870663. I can be reached there. I do have a YouTube channel that you can actually get content from the YouTube channel. And so that has been on hold for a little while, but I'm reactivating that. I am on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And so those are areas that people can go to find me, and please connect with me. I would love, love, love to share more with you and help you understand how you can elevate your life and you can be that conscious creator to create the life of your dreams.
Thank you so much for sharing your energy and your wisdom with us on the show today, Michelle.
Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate you.